a selection of the food that's going to be going in the LG fridge freezer. Hello and welcome to my review of the LG GB-F5 30PV QPB silver fridge freezer. On first impressions, we can see that the fridge freezer is absolutely stunning. It really doesn't look cheap or tacky at all, worth every penny. The first thing that I would like to tell everybody about is the LED user display and controls. It's really simple to use. If we press this button here, it lights up and tells us that the freezer is -20 and the fridge is 3 and the door alarm is on. The door alarm means that when the fridge is open for too long and the temperature rises, it will bleep at us, like so. As you can see, there's a child lock on the fridge. If we hold down this button here for 3 seconds, it should lock and the symbol will change. There we go, it's locked. And that means that all the controls are completely locked, so children can't play about with them. However, it is very high up the controls, so unless you have a very tall child, I don't really see that this is an issue, as young children just couldn't possibly reach. It's a nice thought though. To unlock the child lock, you hold it down again for 3 seconds. There we go, and it's off. The next thing I would like to show you is the Eco button. If you press it, it will set your fridge automatically to the most economic setting that there is and will save you a few pennies, yet still keep your food in the fridge and freezer completely fine. Next we have the Express Freeze button. Just a simple press and it's on. It will express freeze everything straight away, fast. Next I would like to show you how to manually change the temperature of the fridge and freezer. If we press this button here with the lower part selected, that is for the freezer. We press it and we can go as far down as -23 up to -15. I like to set mine as cool as possible. There we go, it's done. And now we have the fridge part, which is exactly the same but on the opposite side. So if we press this, it will go down to 1 and up to 7. I'd like to set this at 3, as I have found that some of the fruit and veg are getting quite cold, close to freezing when it's at 1. Looking inside the fridge, you can see that there is ample storage. There's lots of shelves and there's 2 main drawers. Now the bottom one is meant to be for meat, but I've actually found that it's really a large space to fit all your meat in. Yes, I don't find that in the top drawer for the fruits and veg, which is meant to be a crisper, I don't think that there's enough room in there. So as you can see, I've got a mixture of both, which isn't ideal. I would have liked to have my meat on the bottom on its own to stop any kind of contamination, but it's a risk that I've got to take, and obviously it's not the worst risk. It's still quite low down there, the meat, and well sealed. On the door we can see that the water dispenser takes up quite a lot of room, which is a real shame, as there's not really much room for any more bottles apart from your milk if you're a large family like myself. So what I've had to do is just keep the bottles on the bottom rack. Oh, that's telling me that the fridge freezer is getting too warm, so I best shut the door. And basically I think it's a real shame that they couldn't have included a bottle rack. After all, it is really well designed elsewhere. They put a lot of attention to the look of it. Now to show you the water dispenser, it's actually really easy to use and the water is really cool. It flows quite fast and it's lovely. Lovely, lovely cool water, which I'm looking forward to this summer. The shelves on the door can be removed, but if you're like me, I have a lot of condiments and sauces which we keep in them, so I'm not really too sure where they would go if I removed a shelf to create space for bottles. But as you can see, there's ample room in the fridge elsewhere. There's loads of shelves which you can fit items on stood up, like tall jars of soup, etc. In the fridge we can see the multi-airflow, which is on each shelf to make sure that everything is evenly cooled. Now if we just listen for a minute, we can hear that the fridge freezer hardly makes any noise at all. It's not completely silent when it kicks in to keep it cool, but it really isn't noisy at all. From day to day, we just can't hear it. It's perfect. Now to look at the freezer compartment. There's not too much to tell about this, apart from it does lack a little bit in space. This is where you can see the 60-40 divide. The top part is fantastic, the fridge, for a large family. You can get plenty in. And if you're stuck for space width-wise, it's an ideal fridge freezer for a large family. But the freezer part is on the small side, I would say. The drawers are very easy to pull out, and I do have stoppers on them. But as you can see, they do get quite full. Well, I filled it quite full. And it can be difficult to get items out at times. It really is sort of quite difficult to dig under because they don't seem to come out quite far enough. It would have been nice for an extra 5 centimetres or so. One thing that I do love about this fridge freezer are the handles. They're really firm and solid, and you can really tell that a lot of care has gone into the design in this fridge freezer. They're large and easy to grab when you've got your hands full of food. Perfect. So my final words are, I think I would recommend this fridge freezer to family and friends. If you have a large family, yet you're stuck for space width-wise. It is a little bit taller than your average fridge freezer, but for me, and I think for many people, that really wouldn't be an issue, as ceilings are quite high these days anyway.